encryption there means that a hacker or a government or a hacker sent by a government can access messages sent across its system. For a product with more than 1 billion users for whom a big selling point of that product is end-to-end encryption and therefore privacy, this might prove to be a problem. Is this flaw a simple bug in the program, or is it a backdoor? Because one could be an error in security and cryptography at UC Berkeley. Thank you so much for joining me today. You looked into it. Facebook said, we're aware it's not a problem. It's expected behavior. It's not even being worked on. It's still not fixed. So you think it's a backdoor and not just a bug, right? Explain how this works.
Yeah, hi, Lindsay. So first of all, of course, when I discovered the vulnerability back in April last year, I thought they decided not to fix it, which leaves questions. They have argued that it's not a backdoor, and they have also given an argument why it is in there. But their argument is contested and also holds only true for messages, not for voice calls.
So you said that you were using your phone and an alert came up, right? How does this end-to-end encryption that they use work, and why did you get that alert?
Okay, so in secure communication systems, there are two modes. The first one is client-to-server encryption. In client-to-server encryption, it's ensured that only the service provider can read your communication and nobody else can. Then there's a more secure mode, which is client-to-client encryption, or also called end-to-end encryption. In end-to-end encryption, the promise is that not even the service provider, so in this case, not even WhatsApp, is ever going to be able to read your messages. This claim that WhatsApp had, that they have implemented real end-to-end encryption, is not true because of the flaw that I discovered.
Okay, so you reported on this on your blog in April 2016. You then gave a talk in Germany. Then it got into The Guardian.
Correct.
What surprised you about the backlash when you realized this end-to-end encryption has a hole in it? You've been surprised by people's reaction, and you say they're missing the point. What's that reaction been?
Well, so maybe some people also didn't really understand the news right. This flaw allows WhatsApp to target very specific communication. It is not enough to launch mass surveillance programs or even help WhatsApp with an economic benefit or so. It's really just about that WhatsApp didn't keep its promise about truly secure end-to-end encryption, and instead, in theory, is able to intercept targeted messages and voice calls.
Okay, so the way you explained it was if you throw your phone into the ocean and your phone disappears, you got to get a new phone. So you download the WhatsApp app and you go to use it. Can you explain how this flaw works when you had to get a new phone or something like that?
Sure. So let's maybe first look at how cryptography or these secure communication systems work in general. I'm going to simplify a little bit, but in principle, every user in the system has a public and a private key pair. If I have a public and a private key, I can give my public key to my friends, and they can use it to encrypt messages, send them to me, and then I can use my secret key to decrypt those messages and read the content. And only the person who has the secret key is able to do that. Now, so someone needs to give out your public key to all your friends, right? Otherwise, they cannot send you messages. And if you have used WhatsApp, the app is really easy to use, and you don't really need to go through this process of giving out your public keys.
Right, you don't have to think a lot, which is the idea that the developers had is if we just make it so that if you get a new phone, you download that app on your phone, you sign in as yourself. You don't need to tell your friends, hey, this is my new phone. They don't want to have that standing in the way. And so that's why they say they don't notify people that, hey, this is Timmy coming from a new phone. Is that right? Is that how you're explaining it?
Correct. So WhatsApp does this public key exchange for you.
Okay.
There is a process of verifying that WhatsApp is not lying to you, but this is broken because in the case where I, for example, dial up a phone number in WhatsApp, dial up one of my friends, give them a call. While this call is connecting, the WhatsApp server can give me a new key, and my app will automatically use this new key to encrypt the communication. And I will not be given the option to check if this key actually belongs to my friend, because my friend has lost his phone and has had to generate a new key, or because the government wants to listen on my communication.
Right, so if you want to hurry up and communicate with each other, you press OK and start communicating, and you have no idea whether or not to get in there and say, oh, who do I need to write a letter to? You just press OK and you go, and so this can be used. But you know, what are misconceptions people have about the history of privacy on the WhatsApp messaging service? Because people seem to think that it's like Signal, that it's very, very, you know, encrypted and private, but it hasn't been that private.
Correct. So WhatsApp took over the technology that the Signal messenger used. And while taking over this technology, they modified it a little bit. They had do this retransmission and automatically accepting new keys. People did not expect.
Well, it's very alarming for those of us who pay attention to news like this, but we'll see if, you know, readers and watchers and listeners out there pay attention. Maybe it'll take some big sort of data breach for them to do that. But we appreciate you investigating and bringing us this information. Thanks for joining me, Tobias Bolter, PhD.